Hi everybody, welcome to Gunpla TV.
Hey guys.
Brought to you by HobbyLink Japan. This is episode 115.
115.
115, here we go. And this is the RG episode. You can see I have my little wall of real gray over here.
Everything you wanted to know about RG and more.
Maybe not more, but... Alright,
just
actually, I got the latest one right here. This is the Destiny, and we'll be talking about the Destiny when its time comes.
Sweet.
In the show here. Ryan, you're going to be talking about...
Yeah, just a very little bit about my guy.
Okay.
And I have a surprise, but you have...
Yes, before we get into surprises and things like that, let's talk about the kit that came in last week there. Before our Golden Week holiday hit, Bandai released a pretty impressive little kit here. This is the HG Unicorn, of course, with its full armor.
Yes.
And now, we don't need to go into this because we've shown the MG on the show, and we talked all about it. And what we will do instead is just give you a glimpse here of just what comes with the HG.
And if you want to have a closer look, Robert...
Robert 184?
Yep, he has done a whole unboxing building thing, so if you want to check that out.
Yeah, he's very in depth. But I just want to say that I kind of think that the HG is a very welcome addition. Because for me, when I was building that Master Grade, it's so big and it's meant to transform and it's got joints all over the place. And it kind of felt just a little bit, how we say, wobbly, fragile.
Always had so much
especially with all that stuff on it. But with the HG, this one's not going to be transforming. It's going to be a lot sturdier, and there's going to be a lot less plastic. It's going to be a lot lighter. So people who maybe didn't pick up the Master Grade version, you can now pick up the HG and enjoy. I'm going to put this back behind you.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, Ryan. It's your time to shine.
Okay, well, before I talk about this guy,
I
only did just a little bit of panel lighting. I just want to actually talk about some things I might have done wrong.
Okay.
But putting this guy aside,
yes,
you will see. I got something big to show. Now, I haven't done something big for a while, yeah?
Yeah, it's been very unlike you. Yeah, maybe the gorilla.
Okay.
Oh my!
Sid has twisted my arm.
Yeah,
and I'm super excited. He didn't have to do it too hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to do a PG. Now, I think I'm mature enough.
Maybe.
You know, to handle this baby.
You've done a lot of modeling, but I should point out that you've actually not built a Gundam model outside of the mega size. So there might be some new stuff in there, like a frame.
Frames are for girls.
I like girls' frames. All right, so let's, why don't you pop that baby open and discover for the first time what it is you're getting yourself into.
Okay, well, let's take a look inside the box. And let's have a look. Whoa, there's two boxes in here, Sid.
What's inside the box? Well, there's two boxes inside that box.
Is this the two different kits?
Awesome.
So, let me put this guy here. So that's B.
Nice, that's box B. It's almost like
huge.
Two perfect grades.
Yeah, is it two perfect grades? Or is it just the modification?
It's just swapping parts, so you can see there.
Okay, and that's A.
I'm excited for you.
Okay, so let's take a look at A first.
Okay.
You'll need to run me through this a little bit.
Oh, no way, man. You're on your own here. Virgin territory.
Oh, whoa. Whoa. Look at that. It's huge.
Aren't you happy?
Yeah, I love it.
It's almost mega size.
Yeah, it's like mega size, but... What?
Yep.
Oh, that's for the cage, isn't it? Or the
you're going to find out. I'm not giving enough noise.
Pickles?
What else is in there?
There's a ton. Well, there's lots of screws.
Yeah, you're going to be frame screwing.
And a crazy fat manual.
Yeah, welcome to the world of the PG. Some of them even have two of them, actually.
Well, that's box... What was this? Box A?
That's box A.
Let's check out box B quickly.
Okay.
Oh, this is going to be a serious undertaking. My wife is going to be like, where's the space for this?
Our daughter is not yet 6 months old or whatever. It's alright.
Oh, gold pieces?
Yeah, that's the best part of the perfect grades. I think at one point was just all that coated pieces.
Is that his fin?
You tell me, Ryan. You're going to be building this baby.
I'm going to be building him.
Show me those big, huge honking pieces there.
Feet?
Yep.
More screws.
More screws.
More screws. And
Ryan.
What? Another manual?
Yeah.
Oh, this is pretty cool. It's all color.
Yeah, it gives you all the information about the actual thing. And
oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Well, this is an epic kit.
Yeah.
And I look forward to getting stuck into it. Okay, well that's it. It looks epic.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Okay, now before you get too excited, I got to point out that you kind of just cast this guy aside already.
No, I haven't cast him aside. I'll just talk about a few things with him.
Okay.
But it might be the last time you see him, possibly.
All right.
I want to really get into this PG. I'm really excited. And I kind of did the dry brushing, which was kind of the technique I really wanted to practice.
Yep.
So let's have a quick look at this guy.
All right.
So basically I did a bit of a panel lining wash with just one of the Tamiya panel lining things. And I'll just show you the contrast, the difference here. So you can see in here in this mesh, how it's much darker than the mesh over here. So I did a bit of the panel lining wash just along here, and I mean just to compare it to the other side, you can see it's quite a difference. But I made a kind of a big mistake. I really should have done the panel lining wash first, then coated it, and then done the dry brushing, because what started to happen with the panel lining wash is when I started to clean it off, it started taking the dry brushing off. So that's just something to keep in mind when you are doing this. So to finish this off, I probably need to do a coat and then the panel lining, just so I'm not washing off the dry brushing at all.
Yeah.
Just another place I wanted to show is you can see in the back of the legs here, and you can see the bit of the darkening around the edges where I went in with the panel lining wash. But you can also see there's a lot less dry brushing because I basically wiped it all off. So some of those people who thought I did too much dry brushing, don't worry, I can take it all off if I need to. Okay, so that's this guy, and yeah, it's
looks good.
Okay, so that's this guy.
Yeah.
He was
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye. I love you guys.
Yeah.
He was fun. He was awesome. Great experience.
Yeah.
But
learned a lot.
Sid, RG, knowledge.
Give
it to me.
Let me hit you upside the head with some RG, some reality. Hit you upside with the real grade. No, actually, we've showed the real grades on the show before, and we talked about them before. Of course, it all started with the RX-782.
I remember that
as
episode.
everything does, right? Now this is July 2010.
Yeah, maybe one of the first episodes of Gunpla.
I believe so, because I think I spent maybe 2 or 3 hours downstairs building this in front of a camera, thinking that we were gonna do a time lapse and show everybody. But then we realized that it's just
we
too
ran out of
much.
tape.
We couldn't put it all into one episode. We had to actually just talk about it in little bits and pieces. So with this guy, we've shown this guy. We also did an RG episode when the third one came out.
Okay.
The Ale Strike. But this one we're gonna go over it again. We're gonna talk about those kits, and we're gonna talk about, you know, in depth, in close, what makes the RG. So let me get my stuff prepared here.
Okay.
All right, Ryan, do you recognize this guy?
I do.
You do? This is the very, very first real great kit we built for the show here. And actually, I actually discovered this guy hiding in a box in my closet, because I had gone on and I had built this guy a couple more times for various projects and painted and whatnot. But this is the guy that just came as he was out of the box with the stickers applied. You can see he's missing little hand covers here. But this is the kit that kicked it all off. And we've talked about this in some depth in the previous time we did the real grade. You can see there he is. He's got all these marking stickers, as well as, you know, these gold foils, as well as the mechanics here have their own little sticker areas here. And it was quite exceptional when this kit came out, because it featured this great kind of frame and this articulation, but it also came with for a kit this size with different colored armor. And you can see that here's a good shot in the leg here, that these armor parts are not the same color. It doesn't come off of one runner. What Bandai does is they have 2 or sometimes 3 different runner colors that allow you to bring out these panels and these details. And there you can see the example that they have for the Charzaku here. Now this kit is predominantly red, but you can see that even with these legs here, they got these 2 kind of different shades here. And like the RX-782, he comes with these stickers for the back here. Now I flat coated this guy, so he's not very shiny. But we've shown this guy on the show before. And when we showed this episode, the Real Great episode, we actually did it around the time the Ale Strike came out. So we talked about that kit in detail. So I'm not going to talk about that kit in detail now, but I will bring out its frame here. And this is what the Real Great is all about. Now this is the frame for the Ale Strike here, and you can see that it comes in different segments. Here's the feet. I can take them off. I can pop these legs out. Go slowly, right? And also the arms. Arms have to come out on this way, right? And this guy even comes apart here. Bloop. This comes molded onto a runner. It's pretty much one part. Once you cut them off the runner, you will apply the armor pieces and then just kind of slap this guy together, similar to how you would assemble a master grade, right? But because they've designed this thing to use all these different armor parts, there's all these little pegs sticking out here, and when it starts to bend, you can see these gadgets start to move here, these mechanisms. They start to flex different ways. So these armor parts will actually split. Let's bring out this guy to show you. This guy you had to be kind of careful because you didn't want to break a piston in here that was really small. So you can see how it opens it up, but the armor slides with it. It's actually really, really cool. Here we go. Like, that's awesome. You'll see that kind of detail on a master grade and the perfect grade, but you wouldn't have seen it on a 1/144 scale HG kit, that's for sure. I'll pop this guy back together here really quickly. Put his feet back on. And one thing I always tell people when they start to build real grade kits is before you start putting the armor on, take the kit, go very slowly, and bend it to loosen up all these little moving pieces. Because if you put the armor on and you start to grab it, there's a chance that you could break something inside. And sometimes you wouldn't even know about it, right? Look at that, that's awesome. Come on, Ale Strike. And one other feature that I thought was unique to the real grade that I wanted to show everybody is the stickers. Of course, you know it comes with a boatload of stickers. There they are, all the markings you can imagine. But you can see that they also give you 2 sets of eye stickers. It's actually 3. These little parts here are also for the eyes. Here's my little head here. And basically you have to choose. You can choose to just use one sticker, or you can choose to use this base sticker and then put these stickers on top of it to make that look. And you know, here's my stickerless head here. I haven't decided yet what stickers I'm going to put on this guy, but I prefer to use the one piece because I think it looks good already, and because it's so small, it's difficult to work with these smaller pieces. But if you do see when people use these ones and they're very careful and they get the alignment correctly, it adds that just a little extra depth to the eyes. And it just, along with the other characteristics of the RG, it looks just that much more detailed, that much more like something you would encounter in reality, so to speak. So the Ale Strike was number 3, and after number 3, number 4, they kind of went back. And what they did, of course, because everybody was clamoring for the normal Zaku, is they built the normal Zaku. Now Ryan, do you recognize this guy? This is
I recognize the Zaku.
Yeah. When this kit came out, we actually used it to show damage. We took the shield and we had started like drilling holes and stuff into it, trying to give it a damaged look. And I was going to go back and really kind of bring out the damage, similar to what you did with your Destroid Phalanx. But I just didn't get around to it because I kind of got distracted. And I got distracted by the 5th kit in the series, which is the Freedom.
This was amazing.
This was crazy. Like you can see it's still got all the stickers, all the gold parts here. The frame goes together the same way, for the most part, as the Ale Strike, but it includes this ginormous backpack with these wings here, and these wings actually open up. Of course, you can also swing this guy around. This is a weapon.
The amount of detail they fit into this scale is...
I know. In some cases, it's almost intimidating, just the amount of stuff that you can do with it. Now, the one drawback I found to the Freedom is that if you're not careful, some of these little wing parts can come off, just because of how they go together. Like, they can't use the same kind of peg connection, male-female connection that you see in most other kits. Instead, what they do is they kind of overlap and stagger. So I can't just clip it together. I have to line it up so like this blue part is on this side, but this blue part is under. And then when I get that alignment, come on, baby, that's when it should stay, providing I've done it properly. Hold on. Yeah, this way. And then again, this goes over and this part goes under. So it's kind of finicky. And it definitely, how do you say, it's something to be mindful of. It's not secure. You don't pop it together with a peg and it's done. But once you do get it, you can see that it looks really good. And it's not fat because there's no extra plastic in there to try and make those pegs. So with this guy, I mean, he's got so many of these wings, right? As well as his small wings. These secondary wings as well. That they needed to come up with a way that would allow them to put these main weapons inside the wings, but still have these hold together, which I think they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, no, an excellent job.
And if you're careful, you won't have any problem with this. Now, this guy's been sitting around in a box for a little while, so of course he's a little stiff in some regards. But when it came time for them to use this concept again for this kind of backpack with the Destiny, well, they kind of did it a little differently, and we'll talk about that when the Destiny's turn comes up here. But one thing I wanted to show with the Freedom here, I'll put them over here, is how the arms go on. Here's my Freedom, my second Freedom. I love this kit, I'm building it again. Now, normally what you would do, you'd get this peg, and you would just take a shoulder here. I think I've got one over here somewhere. And you would have a poly cap inside here. This is a master grade. And you would just go boom and stick it on there, right? And it'd be done. But that's not the case with the real grades here. Now this peg actually moves. You can see this peg, it moves, right? So what you do, you actually move it just enough that you slide this on. Well, that doesn't look right.
No.
Like that angle. Well, just fold it back into the body.
No, and it locks in.
And he locks in. And there's no way it's going to be just pulled off. You actually, to get this arm off, you'd have to open it up again and pull it off. So it's really actually quite secure. And you can actually start posing it, holding onto the heavier weapons, and not worry about arms falling off or just coming apart, which can happen with some of the smaller kits. This is kit number 5. Now number 6 was a bit of a departure because it wasn't actually a mobile suit. Here's number 6. It's actually the SKYGRASPER unit that goes on the Ale Strike. Now, if you had built the Ale Strike, here he is in the corner, you know, this guy, unarmored, you have the ability with this kit to make this the strike packs here. Of course, you get the SKYGRASPER, this flying unit here, but you can also get make the sword strike or the launcher strike,
okay.
Depending on which backpack. You can choose to build. Well, you don't choose to build. You can build both of them with a set, but you can choose which one to put on. So, and they're swapping. So here's a good shot here. Now, Ale Strike not included. That came out previously, but you can actually build the parts to make the different strikes, which is quite impressive given that the size of the kit you're working with, that they gave you these parts. Now, since Bandai did the SKYGRASPER, they haven't done anything similar in the RG line. But because they've shown that they can do it, it'll be exciting to see what they're going to pull up next. What's going to be the next non-mobile suit real grade? And I'm kind of hoping that there might be a hint of that at the Shizuoka Hobby Show, because we actually didn't discover the SKYGRASPER until we went to one of the hobby shows. I think it was the Gundam Expo a couple years ago. That's when we first saw that. We were expecting to see the Freedom, and we saw some of this. Now that was number 6. Number 7 and number 8 almost came out together. So one of them is the Titans here, and the other one is the AEUG. Now this kind of goes back to more towards this kind of suit. You know, they had done the Ale Strike, they've done the Freedom, pretty elaborate kits, and they kind of took a step back with the Mark II. But I gotta say, I think the Mark II might be the best RG of them all. Here's the Titans version. Now they're the same kit with the same armor parts, just different colors. But you can see some of the things that actually make these kits unique is that they come with this mesh tubing. Okay. So you get the mesh tubing in the back of the knees, you get it in the back of the legs here, which you can't really see, but you also get it in the backpack, which is just like the Master Grade actually. The Master Grade has this mesh tubing as well. Now this guy's been flat coated and dirtied up and painted, so he looks a little bit different than what you can expect. But this guy is pretty much straight build with just the top coat. And there he is. Now, one thing I should point out about the Titans, which makes it a little bit different from the AUG here, is you actually got extra parts with this kit. Because in the anime, there's actually different versions of this kit. Now, if I can find these guys here, they're pretty small. But basically what you can do, depending on which version you want to make, is you can take off this yellow, this whole part at the bottom here, and you can replace it with this one and change the look of it. And the front vents here also change. You can, and these shoulder parts are actually meant to swap out as well. You can change the shoulder, and you can make the different versions of the Blue Titan scheme here, which is pretty awesome. So I'm not sure yet which one I like more. I kind of like the Titans because of all the swappable parts and because of that blue color, but I kind of like the AUG because it's one of the more badass looking kits when you start to dirty it up. And I think you can't dirty up a blue kit as well as you can do a white kit, but they're both awesome. They're both fantastic here. So we'll put these to the side. That's 7 and 8. They came out, they were supposed to come out the same day, but there was a production problem with the AUG, so it came about a week later, but no harm done there. Now, number 9. Number 9 is the Justice Gundam. Now, this, when Bandai showed this, people were really surprised because they haven't even done a Master Grade Justice yet. People are saying, oh, do the Justice. There's an Infinite Justice, but there's not a Justice. Now, here's my Justice, as he was when I last saw him. You can tell that he's a real grade just by looking at all the armor and the different colors here, but look at what they give you here. They give you this massive backpack. This massive backpack is able to open up into that flying form, and you can actually drop your Justice on top of it. Let's see if I can get this off of here. It's been so long since I've used this guy. Oh, took a little bit of work to get it off, but that's to be expected because it has to be pretty secure when you're putting the backpack this large on this kit. I'll move all this stuff here. Here's the Justice. Now when you get the Justice all ready to go, when you make it into its flying form here, you can see that you can move these around, but they actually pop right in there, and then they don't move. So you pop them in place, get in there, fold that in there like this. This actually opens up. That's pretty cool. And now you can see that they've got these little, fold this back here, this little opening here, which actually is meant to accommodate the bottom of this guy's foot. So you can,
okay, so you can actually stand him.
we can stand him on here and click him into place. Now, we've shown this on the show, I think when this came out, we talked about it. It's a little bit tricky to get the alignment right, but once you actually get it on there, this guy actually comes with the adapters for the stand, of course. You can start spinning this guy around and, you know, putting him in whatever pose you want to. Here, lean forward into the future, go, you know, and he'll actually stay there. It's actually really cool. I really like the Justice. And I'm kind of hoping that because they've shown that they can do it, the backpack like this, that they do an Infinite Justice at some point, because that's one of the more popular Master Grades out there. But time will tell on that one. I think Bandai has so many kits that they have to consider for the real grade line that it might be a while before we see an Infinite Justice. Okay, that's number 9. And then we hit number 10. Now number 10, it's a huge departure for the real grade line because they had built a kit that many people had been debating for a long time, and that is the ZETA. So here's the ZETA. Now a little bit of history on the ZETA. Back when we were filming the episode for number 2, way back when, 2010 or 2011, March 2011 maybe, people asked me, what do you think would be the next kit? What do you want to see for a real grade? And I said, you know what? I think Bandai's going to try and do a ZETA. I would really like to see a ZETA. And then people send me a message saying, well, you know, that mobile suit transforms. How are they going to do that with a real grade kit? And I had to think for a minute, you know what? You're right. Maybe Bandai's not ready to do that yet. So I thought, okay, well, if they do that, maybe they'll have to do part swapping. So when the rumors were coming that a ZETA was coming, I said, well, I don't know if they can do that yet. Maybe there's going to have to be part swapping involved. And it turns out I was wrong the second time, and I was right the first time. They could do the ZETA, and they could do it without part swapping. And here's my ZETA right here, all transformed up here. Now this kit is slightly bigger than the other real grades. Slightly, a little bit more expensive by like 500 yen. That's because there's a lot more plastic and a completely redesigned frame. Because that frame, on the other real grades, you pretty much get one runner and the frame is pretty much the same. You get the same frame for, I think, the Freedom and the Justice and the Destiny, they all use the same frame. But this Zeta has a frame all its own, which kind of adds to the price when Bandai has to make that. So I'm just going to kind of stick this guy here. He's kind of been painted, and I don't want to really transform him if I don't have to. But because people are going to want to see, well, what's it look like normally? Even though we showed it in an episode. Well, I kind of got a surprise for everybody. Kind of got a surprise. I kind of bit the bullet here, and I went to Bandai's online shop, and I picked up the Karaba version of the Zeta. And so here's my Karaba version, and I'm not going to transform him into the Wave Rider mode because I love how he looks just like that. So I'm going to stick that guy there. And sorry, people outside Japan, you might not be able to get the Karaba version, but I wanted to show you guys at least because I think it looks awesome. And I have to show the normal mobile suit version of the Zeta. So which do you guys prefer? Do you guys like the Karaba colors, or do you like the normal Zeta colors? I think the normal Zeta colors are actually perfectly fine, but seeing that kind of pink on there is pretty cool too. This is number 10, and when they originally released number 10, they gave you a booklet inside of it on that first production run, and it gave you the history of the real grade and screenshots from the promo videos, as well as schematics and whatnot, which is really cool, and I hope that they continue to do that with future real grades. But now we're going to hit number 11. Number 11 is the Destiny, and I've got to dig it out over here. I'll dig out the box first. Now, here's the kit. It's getting crowded in here. You need a janitor. Here's the kit. Here's the Destiny. You can see that it has these wings similar to the Freedom, but these a little bit different in design. You can see they're quite a bit thicker, and the small narrow parts actually are just in the center. So this actually goes on either side of it. It's able to really expand open here. Yeah. Really expand open, and it's actually really cool. Now with a backpack like that with these wings, you can see it's going to be a little bit back heavy, but he holds his own pretty well if you get the feet angled correctly. So we'll see what I can do there. So there he is. Now with the Destiny, not only does it give you this cool wing thing, but they also give you all the weapons it's supposed to come with. So let's dig them out here. I don't know if you're familiar with the weapons for the Destiny, Ryan. I would imagine not.
Nope.
But you can see he comes with this rather large sword, which you can wheel around here. And another thing that folds out like so. And of course he's got the standard rifle and shield. But he also comes with, this is actually kind of crazy, he comes with the beam shield. Now, on the Destiny and other Master Grade kits, that they have this beam shield, and even the Perfect Grade Strike Freedom. This is all just molded in this kind of translucent blue plastic. With the Destiny, that is not the case, and I think I've got these things here somewhere. Here it is. I've stuck them on here, but this actually comes with stickers. Oh. To make that effect on the shield, you actually get these stickers, and you can see that this sticker sheet is significantly bigger than previous decal sheets. Yeah, part of that is owing to these things here. Now, when I was putting them on, I thought, oh my god, I have to put on 4 of them. It's going to be tough to get them all lined up perfectly. But because the cut of them is so precise that if you can line up just one of them properly, the rest should follow fairly simply. So I think I did a pretty good job of getting the stickers on. But if you're worried about getting the stickers on properly, maybe you don't have confidence, or you just don't like the look of the sticker, well, remember this is a clear plastic piece. If you get a clear spray paint, clear blue, clear red, clear orange, yellow, you can actually paint this thing whatever color you want and still get that kind of beam look to it. So for now I'm going to keep the stickers on there, and if I decide later in the future to paint it, I'll go back and take them off and go ahead and do so. And one other thing I want to say about the Destiny, while I have this box in my hand here, is look at the effects parts it comes with. Now all these effects parts will clip onto various parts of the kit here. I wonder if we have pictures of them. I haven't actually stuck them on there yet because I want to go back and put all the decals on. but they are meant to fit onto, where are we here? Ah, yes. Some beam effect parts, like this this guy here, he will actually fit onto here, the sword. Kind of similar to what you see in the Master Grades of the Destiny, and the Sword Impulse has this effect as well. And of course you got these things jutting out here for these, because you take these off, these pop right off. Chunk. That's actually a handle. Now this handle is, you can plug in these effect parts. Note I haven't cut them off because I don't want to lose them, right? And you can actually wield around these beam swords, this one or this one, depending on what length you want. It's actually pretty awesome. Now to store these weapons, let's go back to the actual suit itself here. I'll tuck this guy down here. You actually can drop them into these little holders that are on the backpack. So with this here, we have to fold them back again. Help me out here, Destiny. Could you? And there's actually a little tab here. Can you see that? This little tab accommodates this little hole here. So if you get the alignment perfect, it will just drop right in and stay there, which is the most important thing. It just stays there. This one, obviously this groove is going to fit into this right there, like so. This drops into this spot, and this one drops into this spot. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Clunk. They even dropped in there. They're actually quite easy to take in and take out, and somewhat good at actually staying in, which I think is awesome, because when you start playing around with the wings on a kit like this, the last thing you want to do is have to keep picking up these weapons as they fall out. But once you get these things in the back here, please keep in mind he's going to be pretty unstable, so make sure you have a good footing on this guy so you can stand him up. Let's see if I can get him to go here. Go. There we are. Okay, Ryan, that sums it up for me with the RG until the next batch comes.
Yes,
which we're probably going to be seeing at the Shizuoka show.
Ah, yes, the Shizuoka show is now next week.
Yep, that's where we're going to be.
We're going to be at Shizuoka on Thursday, so that Monday we should have a new episode of all the hotness from Bandai.
Yes, but before then we're going to try and get what pictures we can up.
Yes,
on the Facebook page and whatever else.
Yeah, from Thursday, keep an eye on our sites, on our Facebooks, because not just Gundam, but any new model kits coming out in Japan will be at the show.
You know, Ryan, one of the reasons that I would kind of twisted your arm to get you to work on that GPO1 is because we have the 2 new real grades coming out in a couple months of the GPO1 and I want to have them both done.
And we can compare them. Yeah. So I have pressure to finish this in 2 months. Actually, and just, you know, a few people have actually, we're going to do comments now, have asked about the SD Gundam small competition we ran. Yeah. We haven't forgotten. We were actually hoping for some more pictures. So if anyone out there wants to upload some photos onto the HobbyLink TV Facebook, please do. And we will choose a winner in 2 weeks.
Yeah, after the Shizuoka.
After Shizuoka. So
we were hoping to get it done before the Golden Week, and then we got dumped on. Pretty much we got dumped on by all the manufacturers hitting us with these releases before Golden Week. Yeah. And we got overwhelmed. We thought we could handle it, but we couldn't. So you have some time to get your SD photo in. And then we'll go ahead and choose some winners in 2 weeks. Yep. Okay, question number 1. All right, I'm ready.
Well, this is not a question, it's more just an observation.
I'm still ready.
Tips for Ryan. Okay. Because some people weren't too happy about my dry brushing technique.
You're a new guy.
I'm new. It's my excuse. So this is from the Robot Zell. Hey guys, love the show and really nice job with the dry brushing, Ryan. But here are some tips for next time. Cut the brush hairs in half, or try finding a brush with much harder, in brackets, pig hair. Yeah. Dip just the brush hair in the paint. Clean the brush way more on the paper until you can't see a trace.
That's one thing I see a lot. You want to get all of it on the paper to the point where it almost looks like you don't have any on the brush. But I noticed that new people, I was the same when I tried it the first time, is once you stop seeing it come off the paper, you're like,
is there
well, I don't have any on my brush. What am I supposed to do? But it's called dry brush for a reason.
Live and learn. Yep. But then again, I mean, I guess if you want a heavier dry brush technique, you'd probably allow more paint on. But anyway, and keep the brush perpendicular to the surface and move it a lot of times across the edges. the paint should build up really slow, like 20 passes for what you did in one pass. Okay. Thank you very much. And actually, a few other people on YouTube also commented like this, and thanks very much for the tips, guys. And if anyone else is thinking about dry brushing, read these comments. It'll really help you. Okay, next is from Boys Gang BKKP8. Sydney and Ryan. Which one is better, RG Justice or RG Zeta?
Ooh, tough question. I like all RGs. If you are a fan of the suit, like I'm more of a fan of the Zeta than I am of the Justice, so I like the Zeta. And the Zeta does transform, which is one thing that Justice can't do. However, because it's a real grade and it's small and it's got that thin plastic, it has a tendency to maybe be tricky, maybe something can break, which we showed in the show way back when. But if you're careful, I would go with the Zeta if you prefer it as a mobile suit. But there's nothing wrong with the Justice. It's also a fantastic kit and gets to ride on its backpack.
Which one looks best to you, I guess, is the...
Exactly. I prefer the look of the Zeta over the Justice, but I like building them both. So.
Next is from Venom 012. Right, I have a question for you guys. I got a MG 1100 Gundam Zeta 2.
Go more Zeta.
0.0, which I've yet to put together, but have read that you're best not doing the transformation as the joints get weaker and such. So I'm going to leave it in MS mode. But was wondering what other cheaper kit I could get to have a Wave Rider mode. I don't want to buy another 2.0 just for that. And the videos I've seen of other kits like the 1/144th scale version seem a bit flimsy, more so than the non-grades. Thanks.
I think if you're building a transformable kit, master grade, you kind of owe it to yourself to at least try the transformation once. And then you can choose which mode you want to display it in. I mean, if you got an action base, it doesn't matter if the joints are flimsy because you can stick it on the base. And if you have it in Wave Rider mode, chances are you're going to kind of want it on a base so it looks like it's flying.
Try at least once. I mean, you're not going to wear out the joints in one go.
And it's a master grade. The parts are somewhat bigger and a little bit sturdier than, of course, the RG Zeta, which we showed. And, if you do get into a jam and it doesn't seem like things are working, you have the option to take it back apart. It's a model kit, right? It's snap fit. So I think you should try it and then decide for yourself.
Good advice. Lucas Chukas.
Nice.
Hey guys, thanks for demoing paint techniques on the show. Ryan, from our end, the model's looking great. Thanks, mate. I have a question. I just finished my first PG kit, an RX-782.
Nice.
And the experience was daunting.
How does that make you feel, Ryan?
Daunted.
All right, that's a good answer.
However, it's also an older kit.
Much like that kit you're going to be building, Ryan.
Daunted even more.
Okay.
What's even more daunted?
Dauntier? I don't know.
I was wondering if newer perfect grades were a little less obnoxious, intimidating. Are you saying the PG you built was obnoxious?
Maybe.
Wow,
You said it's intimidating though. Is there a difference? Like, can something be intimidating and obnoxious? Are they similes or?
Or maybe they're initially obnoxious and then they just become intimidating. Or maybe they're intimidating.
I think the idea is that it's so big and so many parts that you're intimidated, and then you start having to fill around with these many parts, and this has to go here and this has to go here, and I got to get these wires in, and then maybe it becomes a little obnoxious. You're like, I got to do this again.
Well, that was like the Falcon and the 3 million pieces.
Exactly. Yeah. That's part of the modeling, and it's some part of the perfect grade for sure.
And I said Falcon,
doing some stuff.
So don't remind me. Okay, and he continues. Sid, mention the strike.
Yeah.
Gundam. Can anybody reading this also share their thoughts?
Let them know what's the perfect grade. Obviously, the new ones, just like the master grades, just like the HGs, they're just better engineered than the old ones, the previous ones. So of course people love the PG Strike, people love the Red Ashtray. Yeah. So, but that said, it's not like the older perfect grades are impossible.
I'm gonna cry now. So this kit here, is it gonna be a headache?
You've done enough modeling now. If you can't build a snap fit kit, I have some concerns.
But is the technology involved in this one so different from the new ones?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
I'm scared.
Remember, at the time Perfect Grade came out, it was kind of a jump away from what they were doing with their Master Grade and the kind of odd little frame polycap things they had going on. So.
Okay. Silent Eagle 3.
Iron Eagle 3? Awesome.
Silent.
Oh, anyway, Silent Eagle. Okay.
I turned 21 early April, and I decided to buy myself the PG Strike. Yeah, I was also had a birthday in April.
Also, my brother and my mother both have birthdays in the first half of April.
Wow. I was in the latter half of April.
Do you think we bored them to death now?
Yeah, you guys sleeping? Okay, and I decided to buy myself the PG Strike and the MG the O.
Nice.
I turned 21.
Go on a binge.
While I'm waiting for the O to come into stock, I checked my local store that stocks Gunpla, and I saw that if I bought the PG Strike from them, I would have to be paying around 125 Australian dollars more than HLJ.
$125 more.
More. Australia ain't cheap.
Oh, that's true. They have to
Yeah,
import all that stuff.
So, he just says, thank you very much.
He says, because I saved so much money.
Oh, I paid
got
an
the O
extra
as well.
$40 bucks for shipping. I saved $139. I've shopped at HLJ for a year, but thanks for the great prizes, private warehouse, and community. Thanks. I just like those. It makes me feel warm. Warm.
Yeah, warm and fuzzy.
Warm and fuzzy.
Okay.
Next is Dominic Vu.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Sydney and Ryan. When did they learn your name was Sydney?
Good question. I'm sure it's been mentioned somewhere. Maybe I typed
Like
it.
everyone's
at one
calling
point
you
too.
Sydney now. Like, what's going
And
on?
it's spelled properly too.
Yeah, I
So
know.
hey, this guy's been doing his homework
Yeah.
apparently.
I love Gunpla and love your show.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen almost every episode and I've been wondering if you can paint your frame for your MG.
Yeah.
I know you can paint the armor parts, but will painting the frame affect its articulation? Thanks for the show and tips.
If you clean the gate marks and everything nicely, you should get away with painting your frame. If it does affect the articulation, usually it affects it for the better because they're just a little bit stiffer.
Okay.
So some frames you'll bend a leg and then the thing will, especially the older kits, start painting that frame and it becomes a little bit stiffer. It will maintain its rigidity longer.
We like rigidity and stiffness.
I'm just gonna leave you all by yourself on that one.
Next is Duke4799.
Yeah.
Sid and Ryan. I know it's not exactly Gunpla, Gundam/Mecha, but could you do an episode on Keropla? Sergeant Frog is in part an homage to fans of Gundam, and there are a number of Keropla that include Mecha.
It's true, and we did an episode of the Kero.
Yeah, we did way back then. You might have to Google it, or you Google in YouTube
Yeah.
for Keropla.
I don't think we call it Keropla though. I think we call it Kerero, or whatever the
That
title.
was the frog thing, yeah?
Yeah, the little frog guy
with
that
the-
you can put the armor on, and we
Yeah.
showed all the different kind of monster or machines he can come with, and the different kind of how do you say? I lost the. I was gonna say outfit, but it's not an outfit. But you can put on this.
Yeah,
looks like
this-
samurai armor, or it looks like a robot, or We've actually done an episode on the
Yeah, so
Keropla.
check. Just Google
Yeah.
YouTube it or whatever you do in YouTube.
Let me do some digging and see if I can find the
Okay.
exact episode number.
Yeah, we'll try to put a link up.
Yeah.
Kyle Smith.
Mm-hmm.
It would be great if you guys could build the Valve Rave one. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I won't read the whole thing. It's a lot. What I will say is, sadly, we're out of stock of the Valve Rave.
The thing with the Valve Rave is I think Bandai was not sure how the reception would be for that, as it's a brand new series, and they produced a limited number to start with, and it pretty much was sold out immediately. So although we had them, they came in, and we discussed, Ryan and I discussed building it for the show. We realized that pretty much that the one I was holding on to was already sold, and we should probably let that go. And then if they, in the future, if Bandai produce more, we can get our hands on one. We'll.
There was a lot of interest. I mean,
I think Bandai was even surprised at it because they quickly released their second prototype shots of their second one, and I think the production for that will be quite a bit more than the original.
Okay. Sorry, actually, this guy goes on, and it's not related to Valve Rave.
Okay.
I also have a question about panel lining.
Yeah.
I've been using Gundam markers for a while, but have come to a crossroads between using the grey and the black for most of the white on my kits.
Mm-hmm.
Which do you guys think does better, or do you have a preference between the two for your kits? Would be really great to see the difference on the same kit on the shoe.
We can do that.
Yeah.
I tend to use the gray. I like the gray better. I think I use like the water-based Sumire, like panel line marker, which I've shown on the show before, but we'll bring it on again. And I find that the gray is much easier to wipe the excess away than the black. The black will tend to smear. You can get it off, but it takes more wiping. But the gray, you can just line it on there, take your thumb, and it will just come off on your thumb, and you can touch your face and get it on your stuff. It comes off the model.
I usually use the wash, the panel lining wash.
Yeah, that's
but
completely
that's
different,
quite
though.
different.
That's like a step up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Next, Ahmed Yassin.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Sid and Ryan, I brought the Destiny RG.
Good choice.
Waiting for it. It will be my first Gundam ever. Finally, I saved enough money to buy a Gundam. It's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
super happy smiley face. So excited. So do you have any advice on what also to get for a first Gundam build? I want it to be near perfect and a clean finish. I'm ready to spend some money on it and give it that extra finish. Please keep in mind that it's my first. P.S. Thank you for introducing me to the hobby since, I guess he's been watching since episode 30.
Wow.
I know Gundams. He knew Gundams, but not Gunpla, but now he knows.
Basically, you're going to want, of course he knows this because we discussed it on the show, but the side cutters and a hobby knife to trim away any excess gate mark. But I would also advise getting a panel line marker and using Q-tips to wipe that excess away, especially on, like, if you look at these kind of kits, you can see all the panel lines in there. That was just done with a panel line marker, but it really makes a difference. And also, because of the real grade, it comes with all these stickers. Get a top coat and top coat it when you're done, so that all the stickers will stay on there. They won't move, they won't start to peel, because remember, they are stickers.
Actually, top coat is the one thing. Even if you don't do anything else, it just adds a nice finish.
Yeah, a lot of models they'll just out of the box build, and then they'll take a flat coat to it, and it removes that plastic sheen, and it looks good. It looks like it's
really good.
A model somebody put up all that.
My Yamato, in the day. This is one from HobbyLink TV.
Okay.
Tingjo. Hey Sid and Ryan, I've been watching your show for quite some time now, and it's really informative for Gunpla builders. Just want to ask Sid, since he's the Gunpla Zen master, since Bandai has done the MG Wing series, are they considering to include the other model suit in the series? To name a few: Leo, Aries, Mercury, Virgo, etc. It would be great if they could make a couple of those suits.
I don't know how to answer this because, of course, I don't know Bandai's future plans. If we're going to be at Shizuoka next week, as we mentioned, if they do have something in the work for more wing kits, we might see it there. But I'm kind of thinking they're moving away from that because Seed is their anniversary. They've got that to do. They've got Chara's Counterattack, which I think they're working on, and they're still doing Gundam UC. And I also think that if they do one of those Seed kits or one of those wing kits, it's not a main kit like they've already done, the main suit. If they do one of those wing kits, the pressure would be on them to do them all. And I don't know if they'd be ready to do all of the kits, especially the ones he mentioned. I don't know if they have it in them to do that many kits at one time when they have so many other series to focus on. But I don't work at Bandai. I don't know.
We don't know. Maybe
we'll go to the Shizuoka Hobby
we'll
Show.
Find out.
We were surprised when we saw the Tall Geese, even though we were hoping, for years for that kit to come out. We were surprised when we saw it at the show that time. So who knows what we'll see. There's supposed to be rumored some surprises there.
Now that's the end of the comments and questions and just love.
All right.
So just as per usual, I will pimp what we do, which is like our YouTube channel. We have 2 Facebook pages for hlj.com as well as for our blog. Check out our blog. Don't be shy, comment, and please, if you see any questions, please answer them. Yeah,
there's a lot of knowledgeable people out there. A lot of people are commenting on other people's comments.
So to everyone who actually comments on comments, thanks so much. You guys make our lives a little easier, I think.
Well, and the guy who wrote the original comment doesn't have to wait a week for the possibility of a response.
And we roll the dice and we decide which comments. So that's about it for me.
All right. Next week is Shizuoka, as we mentioned. We're going to be there bright and early. We've got to take the Shinkansen. While we're going to film video that day, it's probably not going to be up until maybe Monday, which is our regular
maybe
release.
Friday.
We'll see what we can do because we got to get back to the office and edit it. But we're going to try and spam our Facebook with pictures of every Gundam kit that we see. We're going to try and get it all up there. And then people can go crazy.
Crazy love.
That's what happens. You put a picture up on Facebook of a new Gundam and boom, oh my god, I was waiting for that one. And we gain 300 likes in a day or something. We hope. That's what I like about Facebook. Especially when it comes to like these conventions. Put up a picture, let the community just go nuts. It's awesome. And other than that, I'm going to be awaiting this month's release of the Ale Striker Master. And we'll show that when it comes up.
And I'll just be working on the PG.
All right. Okay. See you later.
See ya.